Hi, Froyle here. Welcome to my studio. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to create a successful image transfer and then how to use that print for a great collage painting. So I'm just using Payne's Grey, very affordable paint, brand. Get a nice cover of, oopsies, little bit of something on the plate there. So I'm going to try this one. That's printed pretty nicely. That's a nice transfer. So I'm going to try it on this paper, which is just a scrapbook paper from like a department store, Kmart, or the warehouse, or one of those cheap store areas in the store, like where they do the craft areas. I think it came in a pack of papers. It's fairly thin, it's not overly thick. So hopefully this paper will absorb all that beautiful paint. And here we go. Well, that's a very nice and moody looking image. I like that. She came up nice. So that's just on like quite a thin scrapbooking paper, just affordable craft section of a department store. They come in those big pads, so very cost efficient, very nice effect. It's got these textural marks on the paper and that absorbed the paint quite nicely. The image transferred well. Pretty happy with that. That's a pretty successful print. I could quite happily put a mat around that and frame it, or I could stick it on a canvas and create a really nice, beautiful textural collage painting with it. Yeah, we'll have to see what I might turn that into, because I actually really like that. So I absolutely love this image transfer. I think she turned out so beautiful. It's just on thin scrapbooking paper, but the image turned out really beautiful. So I decided I'm going to turn it into a collage. Now my first decision was, am I going to have the canvas this way and put her on here, which I could do and it would look fine. But I think just for a change, I'm going to go with the canvas this way. This canvas is 31 by 41 centimeters, and I think I'm going to put her right in the middle like that. And then I've pulled out a whole heap of jelly plate prints that I'd previously made during different printing sessions. I've pulled out some paints, some matte medium for adhesive, probably use maybe some PVA, some heavy gel, some scissors, a brush, a old credit card to scrape out the bubbles, and I think I'm ready to go. Now what I'm going to do first is glue her onto the canvas. I love the moody tone of the print. I love the color. So I'm going to do something with my other gel printed papers that contribute to that feeling and of the print. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This is an entirely intuitive approach to collage. I'm just going to start putting shapes and papers on the canvas and then make decisions as I go along. If I don't like something, I'll cover it up. If I change my mind, then I'll move it around, and I'm just going to create the collage in this moment of application. I don't have anything planned out. I've got some papers, I've got some paint. I can rummage through my studio and find other textures if I want to add some different elements. But I won't know until I actually start gluing some things on. I really like these shapes in here where her hands have come up around her neck there. So I'm going to start by putting some shapes in here. And I'm loving this paper. So I'm just going to start by adding shapes onto the canvas. I don't really have anything planned out. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of work it out as I go along. So to me, collage is like painting with paper. So I've cut some of these shapes out. I've chosen this particular shape because I've been inspired by this section here. I know it's a really small thing to be inspired by, but that's how it works for me. Something triggers an idea, and then I work on that idea, and then that leads to the next idea, and on it goes. So I'm going to start with this idea of this particular connection to that shape in there, and then I'll see how I go from there. Like I said, it's an intuitive process. I'm just creating this in the moment of application. I'm putting each shape on, and then I'm responding to that shape and deciding what shape I want to put on next. To me, she feels like she could be in a forest. So I'm kind of going with these deep turquoise colors, and I'm going to add some blues. If I put something on and I change my mind later, then I'll just paint over it or rearrange it or do something else with it. It can be quite a therapeutic process and way to approach your collage if you can allow yourself to go with the flow. If you can trust yourself to just purely create, then it can be a really beautifully intuitive and therapeutic way to approach a painting. Okay, so I kept gluing the shapes on, and the shapes turned into lovely leaf designs. As I kept putting shapes on, they developed into this leaf pattern because it feels like she's in a forest. I really like that. All of these papers are jelly prints, which is really exciting because it shows you just how diverse the application of process of the jelly printmaking can be. Even when things don't work out, I want to encourage you to keep all of your prints, even if you think they failed, because you don't know what you might use them for in a collage situation. These white colors here were actually from an image transfer that didn't work successfully. So, you know, you can't tell that by looking at it, and you wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have told you, but they totally were. And then these ones here are all prints that I did at a different printing session, and I love these. These prints here, I rolled the paint thick on the jelly plate and then rolled over some bronze onto the turquoise, and I didn't blend it. I just left it all thick and textural and took prints. I absolutely love that. It's like creating abstract paintings with the printing process. It's fabulous. These are stencils that I've used. So, you know, you can really explore a beautiful range of printing process and techniques with your jelly plate. Keep all your papers, and then you know, can put them together in a beautiful collage. The image transfer has turned out beautiful. I love her face. I love the look and feel of this piece. To me, it feels like comfort. That's how it feels to me, with her sense of serenity and the kind of forest green, turquoisey blue colors. It feels very comforting. Yeah. Anyway, I've taken the colors round the sides, which I really like to do because I think it finishes the canvas really well. I then put a varnish over it with a satin varnish. So what I do is I put the varnish into a plastic container and use a soft brush, and I brush the varnish on. The satin is nice. It's not fully glossy, but it's also not fully matte flat. It's kind of got a sheen to it, which is really nice without being super glossy, but also highlighting the colors. Sometimes the matte can be a little flat on color. So I find that this satin one is quite a nice finish. I like to varnish my collages because it seals all the papers. Also, it helps to prevent against UV light. So, you know, it reduces the chance of fading, which is really important with artworks. So I always like to complete my collage paintings with a varnish. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it's beautiful. The image transfer was successful. The collage came together nice. Also, the whole application and process was really therapeutic for me in just putting down one color and responding to the next color, and then completing the collage in a more intuitive and spontaneous application. So I want to encourage you to have a go at this kind of process with your own prints and image transfers, and I'd love to see what you create. Join me in my studio and watch the full art class on Skillshare. I would love to continue to create with you.